that place, and that was a farmland 2,000 years ago. So we know that people grew grapes here because the first thing archaeologists discovered was the first century wine press. Close to the wine press, archaeologists discovered such terraces because we're in a hilly area of the lower Galilee, so that was the main type of agriculture. And as you can see, these terraces, they consist of two main layers. At the bottom there's a white chalky layer which was used as a sealant. So since one terrace is filled with rainwaters, the water will flow down to the next ones, and thus creates a self-irrigation system. In addition, archaeologists found here quarrying, water channels, and watchtowers. We're going to talk about all this. So now, as we go outside, please let's stick together. Let's stay as a one group, and always please watch your steps because the ground is rough and slippery, especially after rains. So be very careful. Take your time. Okay, please. This way. Up.
Pwedeng lipad ng hangin.
So Nazareth was founded in about 2,200 years ago, and at that time, major means of transportation was a donkey. And a donkey has very unique possibility to find the easiest way. When he goes up and down the hills, he makes kind of zigzags, and eventually on top of these paths made by donkey, the first streets of Nazareth were built, and people built the streets just wide enough to allow a loaded donkey to go through. That's why we may easily call a donkey a first century engineer.
Outdoor na.
Shepherd.
How are you doing?
Hi.
Hi, where are you from?
Philippines.
Philippines, you come a long way.
Ang init.
Yeah.
Ano ng mga artista.
Yeah. I'm grateful for that.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
We're making water down to the trees, to roots, so they can get water.
Okay.
So we'll throw it away, we just stop here. So if you see further down there, we've dig some more rings around the trees just to gather the water. You know it's coming rain soon, so we have to prepare.
Okay.
Yeah, harvest season.
So we're surrounded by olive trees, and the oldest one that we have here is about 400 years old. But look at these new branches, new shoots, which are coming out of the roots of this tree. And a new shoot in Hebrew is netzer. Can you say that with me? Netzer.
Netzer.
Right. If you add one more letter, you get a Hebrew name of Nazareth, which is Nazareth. In Hebrew is Nazareth. So this Nazareth, this new shoot, is mentioned in the book of Isaiah, chapter 11, when the prophet says, "A new shoot comes out of the root of Jesse." Jesse is the father of King David, right? And King David is the forefather of Jesus, right? So we see here fulfillment of prophetic picture when Matthew says Jesus was called Nazarene, right? He was that Netzer out of the root of Jesse, and as truly Messiah, he lived in Nazareth.
See?
Alright.
You guys. Palang yan, ha? Ito nyo, di ba? Yun. Isang shoot by shoot.
Yung 400 years ang kunin. Okay.
Asan
Ayan,
yung 400 years?
400 years.
Olive tree? 400 years.
wheat, but we also plant here things that people would eat 2,000 years ago, like lettuce or cabbages, right? In Roman period, they loved cabbages so much. So don't expect to see potatoes, tomatoes in the area. There was no pizza in the first century. So field of ripe wheat in Hebrew is called Asadeh alavan. Asadeh alavan means white field. That's how they called it in Hebrew. And we see why Jesus says, look at the fields because they are white for the harvest. Yeah? So now we can understand. This is the place. This is the place which is called threshing floor. So all the harvested wheat would be placed to this here, to this area. Then a donkey, which is tied with such sledge, tied. You see there are some of the salt stones in this sledge, and he would go round and will separate kernels from straw, and hulls. And after that, when it's windy, usually in the evening, the farmer would take such winnowing forks and he would throw it up, and the chaff, which is lighter, would fly away, and the wheat, which is heavier, would fall down. Do you remember how John the Baptist, he was saying that it is time when the Lord is going to clean his threshing floor, and he says that the winnowing fork is in his hands, yeah? So you see how things from everyday life John the Baptist also used, as Jesus used, to people who listen to him, they would understand him the best way they can.
You guys may visual kasi. No, maintindihan nyo na yung sa Bible.
Almond trees. Almond tree is mentioned in the book of Jeremiah, chapter 1, when the Lord says, "Look, what do you see?" As the prophet answers, "I see an almond tree." And God says, "I'm the Lord who is watching over His word to perform it." And when you want to look, what's the connection between an almond tree and the fact that God is watching over His word? So when you read it in Hebrew, everything becomes very clear, because an almond is shaked, and to watch is lishkod. So it's actually the same word. So we have kind of pun here. Shaked, lishkod, actually the same word. That's why we have this connection between an almond tree and to watch over the word. Yeah. Okay, so I would like to introduce you to Abraham, our shepherd.
Hello, Abraham.
Hello, Abraham, the father of all nations. And here are our sheep. So we see that the relationship between shepherd and his sheep as a picture of God and His people is found many times in the Bible. That's why Jesus uses the same image in His teachings and messages when He talks about Himself. I'm the good shepherd. I'm the only door to this sheepfold. A sheepfold is a place where usually a shepherd would keep his sheep at night after letting them to gaze in uncultivated land. He would find cave or build kind of fence to protect his flock. And guys, we used to have sheep and goats together, but goats, they're troublemakers. They don't easily listen to a shepherd. They were just running everywhere, eating whatever they wanted. That's why we've decided to separate sheep from the goats. We just sold them out. And we see how Jesus says that in the last days He's going to separate between people. The shepherd does it. Yeah. Before the hottest part of a summer, he would shear his sheep. And if he has such a mixed flock, sheep and goats together, he will just separate between them.
Picture kayo dito,
Thank you.
bro.
This is a replica of the first century. So you look at it, the burial is mentioned many times in the Bible. According to Jewish tradition, the burial had to occur within 24 hours. Usually, people, all family members would gather to prepare the body. They would wash it, remove it with spices and oils, body would be placed in the shells, which are carved inside the bedrock wall, and then they would roll the stone and seal it to prevent smelling. But 1 year later, they would come back for the second stage of the burial. By that time, the flesh is all consumed, so they would collect bones of the deceased into an ossuary, it's a bone box made of stone. So, they would place all these ossuaries inside the family. And our guys, when they started to carve this cave, it took them 2 months to complete that, and they were using power tools. Yeah, just imagine how long it would take 2,000 years ago. That's why this type of burial was only for rich people. The poor ones, they were just buried underground. And we see that thanks to Joseph of Arimathea, who was a rich person, Jesus got the burial of a rich man, right? And also this fulfilling of the prophecy in Isaiah chapter 53, when the prophet says, He has made his grave with the wicked and with the rich and his dead. So Jesus, the true Messiah, was buried as a rich man. And you know, guys, when Joseph of Arimathea did that, all his family members, they were shocked. They were like, how did you do that? Now our tomb is going to be occupied for 1 year, right? But Joseph of Arimathea answered, don't worry, guys. Jesus promised me he's going to use this tomb just for the wicked.
Yeah.
They would take off their sandals and would walk on it. The question is, why did they make the wine barefoot without sandals? Do you have any ideas? I always say it is much more delicious. So the truth is that the seeds inside the grapes are bitter. So if seeds are crushed, it would ruin the taste of the wine. So that's why, guys, our bare feet are perfect tools to make wine, because they're just soft enough to squeeze the juice without crushing the seeds inside. And after that, the juice would flow down through this little channel, as you can see it here, into this vent below. And later on, after sifting it, the juice would be placed into new wineskins. After 40 days, it becomes a new wine. We remember how Jesus was teaching that new wine should be put into new wineskins. Why? Because during the process of fermentation, a lot of gases are released, and new wineskins, they're just flexible enough to expand and to make room for all these gases. And the old ones, of course, no. So, this wine press is the original one. That was the first thing archaeologists found here, and the pottery shards they found here, they date back to early Roman period, 1st century. When you look at this hillside, you see these terraces are original as well, except for this watchtower. This is a replica. But beyond this wall, in this direction, archaeologists found 3 original watchtowers. And when we look at this hillside, we remember, it reminds us the description from Mark chapter 12. There Jesus said, one man planted a vineyard. He built a wall around it. He dug a wine press and built a watchtower. You see, all these things are mentioned in that parable. And just to remind you, we are very close to the 1st century, to the center of 1st century Nazareth, 5 minutes walk from this place. And it is likely that Jesus was here. Maybe as a child he may have played here or helped with the work. And it is also possible that Jesus was actually imagining this very vineyard when he told that parable in Mark chapter 12. Okay? Please, guys. Are original, and it took us time to recover them. So imagine, to build such terraces from the scratch, it would take much longer. Why? Because you have to carve these huge steps into the rock. After that, to build such walls, and then using donkey to fill the space in between with different types of soils. That's why terrace lands in biblical days were very expensive. So we see in one of parables of Jesus how one man, he was giving a banquet, and when he started to invite different people to come, so one of them gave very strange excuse when he answered, you know, I've bought a field and I must go see it. It sounds really unlogical, because when you when you buy such expensive stuff as terrace lands, the first thing you should do is to examine the conditions of these terraces, and then you make decision to buy it or not, right? So that excuse was so strange and unlogical. And we see in the parable of the sower, Jesus says that some seeds fell on the road. So this road we just used now was a best approach to all these terraces. Since terrace lands were very expensive, so some terraces could belong to one family, and other ones to another family. So all the sowers would use the same road to sow their seeds. And since the ground is compressed, so Jesus says birds would come and eat all of this. And another type of soil is rocky soil. The meaning is that it is very thin layer of a soil, like you see it here, and then rock itself. Jesus says everything will sprout up very quickly. But when the sun starts scorching towards the end of the spring here, so everything will wither because it doesn't have deep roots. Yes. Okay. And you can see here, you can see these bushes, these very bushes. Some scholars say that this is a biblical hyssop. Hyssop is mentioned in the story when the Lord brought the people of Israel out of Egypt. He commanded them to use branches of hyssop to paint their doorposts with the lamb's blood. Yeah. And we also see that according to the law of Moses, hyssop is always mentioned in the context of purification. For example, if you touch the dead body, you have to use also one of the components for purification is hyssop, for cleansing, right? And we see also now also it clarifies when King David he prays in Psalm 51 after he had sinned with Bathsheba, so he prays and he says, "Yeah, purify me with hyssop." Please, guys, we've just made this stop to catch up our breath, and we continue.
Here are lettuce.
Lettuce.
Yeah.
By the way, this is Simon.
Hello, Simon. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
There are almost no olives on trees, so just few of them. And the season of olive picking starts in October and lasts for about 2 months, so till the beginning of December. And as you can see, we've already picked all the olives. And there are 2 ways to pick olives. The first way is by hand. We just pull like each branch like this. And the second way is with stick, with long stick. We just hit the branches, high branches, right? But also before we pick them, I forgot to say you that here we are waiting for the first rain. Why do we need a rain? Because it washes all the dust away. Yeah, because in this area, especially during the spring and summer, there are a lot of winds carrying the dust. So that's why we need rain. And after that, we pick the olives. But using a stick, it is not good for the tree because we break a lot of branches. And we damage them because they have to recover for about 1-2 years to give again olives. And also it is for safety. People don't want to climb the tree, and in winter it is slippery. That's why. And that's why during the picking they also prune the high branches. High branches, they give a lot of shade for other branches, which is not good for the tree because olive tree loves so much a lot of sun. Yeah, and also less branches we have, the more bigger olives we get. The more bigger olives, it is much more olive oil, right? So and also if we have, for example, 100 kilogram of olives, we get always 25% of olive oil. It means 25 Okay, please guys, now we're going to enter the oil extraction. Please, we're gonna see two stages how oil is being extracted out of olive oil. Please. You can stand around this stone basin if you wish. Yes. So this is a replica, okay, of olive oil. So all pink olives, they would place it here in this inside the stone basin, and after that, a donkey which is hitched to this beam would walk around like this, and with this milestone, he would press all the olives.
You used to have donkey here, right?
Yes, yes. Sometimes, yeah, we use the donkey here, and after walking around many times, everything so turns to a pulp. So it is very oily. It has all together olives, of course, water and oil. And then people would put this pulp at the sides of these special round baskets, so it balloons like a tire. Okay, and since we get about 8-10 baskets like this, we go to the other part of this building. Please come over there. You can see better what we do next with these baskets. So still we don't have any olive oil, just the pulp. And then, as you can see here, people would stack all these baskets over a hole. Over there, you can see the hole. Okay, and without any pressure applied, water with oil would flow down to this hole. The water is heated, it would go down, and the oil, which is lighter, floats on the top, and then people later could just scoop it out. And this is the first oil of the best quality, and it is considered to be, according to the law of Moses, as first fruits. So it is to be offered to God, right? That's why we believe that in Jesus' time, the most of this oil went to Jerusalem temple to light the menorah, 7-branch candelabra in the temple, and to anoint kings, priests, and prophets. Then, after that, people would lower this huge beam. They would lower this huge beam to apply pressure on these baskets. The more pressure we apply, it causes the quality of oil to decrease. So we get the second oil. It is of lower quality, but it still was good enough for cooking, medicine, cosmetics, and perfume. After that, people would use such winches that you can see here along this beam. They would use such winches trying to lift these huge rocks in the pit, and again we apply pressure and get the third oil. It was of the lowest quality, but it still was good enough to light oil lamps. The pulp still has a little bit oil in it, so it was perfect fuel for starting fire. And there are two Hebrew words. Please try to repeat after me. Gat shmanim.
Gat shmanim.
Gat in Hebrew is press, and shmanim is oils in plural. And gat shmanim is actually the same word for Gethsemane. So it's olive press. Here we have very interesting image how Jesus was pressed in the Garden of Gethsemane like an olive in olive press. He was under such a great pressure that Luke says that even his sweat was like drops of blood. And also we see that people 2,000 years ago, they pressed the olives 3 times, like Jesus prayed in the Garden of Gethsemane 3 times.
Nice,
As we come closer, you can come to the side, have no space. Huh? So I'm the porter, and long time, long process, and you have to be very patient. It's very important. First of all, I need to prepare the clay. So over there, you can see later behind this fence here, I have two pools in different levels. This is where the place I mix and prepare the clay. The moment it's ready, the clay is ready, then I store it inside this room. You shouldn't see sun at all. Then I take a piece of that clay, a lump, and I lay it here on this small wheel. Then, with my leg, I move the bigger wheel which is connected to this one. You see that?
Yes.
I move it with my. Then I start shaping and creating the kind of tool that I have in my mind. Either a jar, or a cup, or a vessel, or a plate, or whatever. Okay? The moment it's done, I should put it to dry slowly in the shade. It shouldn't see sun at all, because sun will make cracks. Then I need to break it and start from the beginning. While the tools dry slowly in the shade, this is the time to add the handles. You see, this part was added later. Or if I need to make holes, or if I need to make decorations. Then the tool is not ready yet. I need to bake it. Over there, you see that dome behind you? This is the oven. In a very high, you see that oven? This is inside. In a very high temperature, I bake it. Then these tools become hard, and I can use them for daily life, even for food or for water, for drinks or whatever. So you see, it's long process. Thank you for listening. Welcome. God bless you.
It takes about 30-35 days, so if you want to order something, you have to wait here. Right? Form is yatsar, and actually is the basis for potter in the Bible, which is yotzer. You see, yotzer is almost the same, very similar, and now it's like a maker, creator, former of a clay. And now it clarifies what is written, for example, in the book of Isaiah, when the prophet says, the Lord is our Father, and we are like clay in His hands, and He is our potter. Right? Okay, thank you, Samuel, so much, and we continue our tour this way. Our carpenter, hello. And Joseph, as a carpenter, he has to make or maintain different tools for everyday life. Yeah, for example, now he's working on a yoke. You can see here, yoke, double yoke for 2 oxes. And this is a plow. Everything is made of wood. Yeah, such things, parts of scrolls. Yeah, for the Holy Scriptures, right? To roll them up. And also we see here threshing sledge. Yeah, we talked about this on a threshing floor, also made of wood. And now you can see that the tools of the carpentry haven't changed so much in the past 2,000 years. So you find different types of chisels for different works to make holes. Yeah, and also we have here a combinational tool. The first use is as in to shape the wood, yeah, and the second is a hammer, and also the third, the most important use, which is wow, when it gets hot, it's so good. That's right. Yes. Wow. Okay. So also we have 2 basalt stones. The rough one is for sanding the wood to make it smooth, and the smooth is for sharpening. We do it with water, we sharpen it. Yeah. And there is one more tool we would like to show you. Please again try to guess what is that.
No.
Driller.
Yes, it's a drill. Thank you so much. Here you just put some batteries inside and it works, right? Yeah, it takes few days and you get one hole. Who wants to try?
Try one, guys. I tried one
Okay.
before.
No.
Try do it.
Yeah, if you want, you
want?
can
No,
try.
no, no, no.
Try? Wanna try? Oh.
Yes.
Yes.
Start.
One month yan,
So
You can stay here to help Joseph. But there's no any salary, just meal, cheese. Yeah. Thank you so much. There is a Greek word for carpenter in the New Testament, and it is tekton in Greek. And tekton has two possible explanations. A worker with wood. You've seen all these things made of wood. And the second translation is a worker with stone. That's why we have some tools over there for working with stone. So that's why we believe that Jesus and Joseph, they were not just carpenters, but builders as well. Guys, look at Joseph. He looks really tired. He's been working here for 2,000 years. That's what maybe you can stay and replace Joseph. Please, come.
Okay, let's start entering in this way. Come on in, friends. Let's start entering in.
Hindi ako mangi-istorbo pa.
By the way, what we've seen in the olive press today, there is no different types of olive oil. First, third, today everything is done by machine at the same time. So when you see bottles labeled like extra virgin oil, it doesn't exist. There's tricks of the trade. Okay? So this is Hannah. This is Hannah, our leader.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning. And we start to weave from shearing our sheep using such shears. Then the wool is washed over there, such stone basin from any dirt. And then comes the stage of dyeing. These colors are natural. You don't have to dye. But if you need green or yellow, you need onion peels or leaves of fig trees. Okay, for a red and orange, you need pomegranate skins. And everybody could afford such colors in biblical days, but if you want something more expensive for this golden color, you need a spice saffron. The most expensive, which are blue and purple, people would get out of sea snails. In each sea snail, there is only one drop of ink. So for one costume, you need thousands like this. So that's why it was very expensive. They are called royalty colors. Priests use them. Lydia from the book of Acts, she was trading with these colors. And Roman soldiers, when they mocked at Jesus, they put on him purple. Yeah, because he was the king of Jews. And after that, Hannah, she starts a spinning process to turn a wool into a yarn. Hannah is professional. It's the experience of 2022 years. Actually, we found Hannah here during archaeological excursion. And look at her, she is gorgeous. The secret is she puts a lot of extra virgin oil.
A for effort.
The thread is still not ready for use because of the tension it curls up, so it has to rest in the bowl for 5-6 weeks.
Wow.
Okay. After spinning, Hannah works with this loom. So we're a small group. We can show just once here. So every time there are 2 rows of threads. Every time Hannah takes from the back, does the front. Then that's the front. And to make thread tight, Hannah needs to shut special comb to put it in its place. After 4 or 5 hours, you get such beautiful shawls, 100% wool, and out of leftovers, you get the whole set of first century
Yes.
Barbie dolls. You can get such a gift shop made by Han. Thank you so much, Han.
Thank you, Arye, Habib. And I want to thank you for this moment. Nice to meet you. Have a good day and God bless you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Okay, ma'am.
Alright, so this is a very unique place because in Israel we have about 10 archaeological ruins of first century synagogues, but this is special because this is the only full-size replica of first century synagogue. Only here you can really imagine how it looked like in the time of Jesus. And the synagogue was kind of a community center of social life. People would gather here for many different reasons. For example, they would come here to solve the problems of their settlements, or the elders of Nazareth would get people here to help them to solve conflicts between them. People would come here for dating. I'm kidding. On Sabbath day, they would gather to read from the scriptures. And we see, according to Luke chapter 4, Jesus entered the synagogue of Nazareth, and he was asked to read from the scroll of the prophet Isaiah, chapter 61. The Spirit of the Lord is upon me, for he has anointed me to bring good news to the poor. He has sent me to proclaim the liberty to the captives and recovery of sight to the blind, to set the oppressed free, to declare the year of the Lord's favor. Then he rolled up the scroll, gave it to the attendant, and said, and the eyes of everyone were fixed on him. And then Jesus said, today this scripture is fulfilled in your hearing. By saying that, actually Jesus claimed that he is the promised Messiah. But then Jesus started to tell them two stories of God's miracles during hard times from the Old Testament. The first started about the widow of Zarephath. She survived through terrible famine in the days of Elijah the prophet. Zarephath, yeah. And the second story is about healing from leprosy of Naaman from Syria. Yeah. In the days of Elisha the prophet, he immersed himself 7 times in the Jordan River, right? And they got so angry at him, so they wanted to throw him off the cliff on which their city was built. What was the problem? And why did they react like that? The problem was that by telling these stories, the problem was that both widow of Zarephath and Naaman from Syria were Gentiles. So actually by telling these stories, Jesus said, as a Messiah, I'm going to heal and save Gentiles as well. And now we have to understand the historical context, because everyone who was here on Sabbath day was Jewish. By that time, Jewish people, they had been ruled by foreign empires for hundreds of years. That's why they expected for their Messiah who would come to save them from Roman oppression. And here we see how Jesus is saying, I'm going to save Gentiles. So in the mind of people of Nazareth, it was like, what? Are you going to help Gentiles, our enemies? No way. Yeah, that's why maybe they concluded that he is a false prophet. According to the custom of those days, a false prophet should be thrown off the cliff first and then stoned to death. That's what they tried to do, but Luke says Jesus just walked through them and disappeared. That was his last time here in Nazareth. He never comes back to this place again. And the center of his life and ministry will be in Pyramid. So guys, this is our last station before we're having lunch. And do you remember how Nathaniel asked, can anything good come out of Nazareth? And Philip answered, come and see. But in your case, guys, come and eat.